So now that you have a clear understanding of the interface and navigation systems, the basics of the workflow systems, and some of the modeling aids like gumball, control point editing, and object snapping, now we're going to take a look at some of the basic 2D and 3D geometry that we have in Rhino. So let's move to our perspective viewport for a 3D view, and let's explore some of the options that we have over here on the top. So you have curve, you have surface, and you have solid. So when you click on curve, you have point object, which will give you multiple options like these. Let's try out some of these options. So you have single point. So once you click on single point, it will ask you for the location of point object, and you can create single point like this. So you can also try to create multiple points using this option. So if you click on it, it will ask you for the location of point object, and you can continuously create multiple points unless you are done. And once you are done, you can then hit enter. That's single point and multiple points. Now let's try and create a line from this particular option. So you have a single line and line segments and a lot of other techniques to create a line. So we'll try out the single line, and once you click on it, it will ask you for the start and then for the end. So that is a line. You can also try the polyline command over here. So you have polyline, and once you click on that, you can actually create multiple lines which are segmented like this. Once you're done, you can hit enter. Next in line, you have rectangle. You have four options for creating a rectangle. Let's try out the first one. So the first one says corner to corner. If you click on that, you can create a rectangle like this. Once you click on a point, it will ask you for the other corner or length. You can do this and create a rectangle. So you have polygon after the rectangle option, which gives you three options. Let's try out center and radius. So this particular option, you can create a polygon having n number of sides. So the number of sides over here that you can see is automatically numbered to 8. You can change that by clicking on it and typing, for example, you want a pentagon, so you can type in 5 and hit enter. Now the number of sides have been changed to 5, and it is asking you for the center of the inscribed polygon, which means if you click anywhere on the canvas, the polygon will be created from the centroid of that geometry, and you have 5 sides. Once you're satisfied with the shape, you can click and you have a closed polygon. Let's see what else we have. You have freeform over here, which is essentially the control point curves and all sorts of spline curves. So let's try control points. Click on control point, it will ask you for the start of the curve with a degree as 3. So here the degree is 3, and I can create a degree 3 curve like this having control points. Now that is clear. Let's see what else we have after freeform. So you have a circle that you can create from the center. So I click and I drag like this, and the circle is created. Let's see what else we have. After the circle option, you have arc. So you can create arcs in all these different ways. Let's try the first one, which says center, start, and angle. So you click on it and it will ask you for the center of the arc. So let's select any random point, and you can give the start of the arc like this. Now you can give the degree or the angle of the arc. Let's give it a degree like this, and that's how you can create an arc. So let's see what else we have after arc. We have ellipse. So we can create an ellipse from the center. You click on that and it is asking you for the center of the ellipse. So say we give it a center over here, and then it is asking you for the end of the first axis. So let's move over to our top viewport to get a better understanding of what we'll do right now. Move out of perspective and we'll move to the top viewport, and over here let's turn on the ortho shortcut that you have on the bottom. We have ortho over here, let's turn that on. and it's asking us for the end of the first axis, which we can provide somewhere over here, and then it's asking for the end of the second axis, which, as you can see, we can provide somewhere over here like this. So that is how you create an ellipse in Rhino using these shortcuts. Let's see what else we have. We have a parabola, so you can create a parabola using similar techniques. It's asking for the focus of the parabola. You provide a point and it will ask you for the direction. You can turn off ortho now. You can give it a random direction like this, and as you see, you create a parabola based on the direction that you have given. Just click and create the parabola that you want. You can also edit these kinds of curves using the control point command, which was already covered in the previous videos. Let's try something else. You have hyperbola over here, so you can use this particular command which says center and focus. So you give the hyperbolic center over here and you give it a focus, and now it is asking for the end. Let's give it a end somewhere over here. As you can see, the amount of focus that you have given, that will determine the end of the hyperbola. So you can give an end somewhere over here, and wait, let's try creating a catenary arc. So under catenary you can find through point. So let's select the start of the catenary somewhere over here, the end. Let's turn on the ortho and give it an end over here, and then it's asking you for the direction of the catenary axis, which is by default it's showing below. Let's so it says press enter for default. You can just press enter and you can give the point on the catenary like this, so it will create a nice catenary arc like this. These are some kinds of curves and arcs that you can create with the curve command. So let's try exploring the surface panel now. So on the surface you have plane, which gives you all these options. Let's try corner to corner. So you select that and you can create, let's create our surfaces over here. You can select the first corner of the plane and you can create a surface like this. Now if you cannot see the surface over here, you can turn the view from wireframe to shaded. Now you'll be able to see a planar surface like this. Now let's try exploring the solid tab. So under solid you have box and it has all these options. Let's try using the first one, which says corner to corner height. You can click on it and you can move to your perspective viewport by double clicking on it like this. And let's turn this to shaded. Yeah, now let's try creating a box over here. Select the first corner of the base, select the other corner of the base, and you can give it a height like this. So you have a box. Let's try creating something else. You have a sphere option over here. You can create a sphere from the center and by giving it a radius. So you can click on it, you can give the center of the sphere somewhere over here and you can give it a radius like this. You can create a sphere like this. Let's see what else we have. So we have a cylinder. So you can click on cylinder and it will ask you for the base of the cylinder. You can give it a base like this. You can give the radius somewhere around like this and you can extrude it like this for the height. And that's how you create a cylinder. Let's try creating a cone, and you have a cone option right here. You can select cone and it will ask you for the base of the cone. Create the base by selecting any point and you give it a radius and then you give it a height like this. These are some of the basic geometries that we are creating right now in Rhino. So as you can see, all of them have a similar pattern of selecting an option and then the command line automatically guides you through the entire process. So whenever we select an option like this, for example, if we select the ellipsoid option from center, the minute we click it, the command line automatically tells us what to do. So it is asking for the ellipsoid center. So if I create an ellipsoid over here, I click, and after I click it, it's again asking me for the end of the first axis. So if I give it an end over here, and then if I give it the end of the second axis somewhere over here like this, and now it's asking me for the end of the third axis like this, and hence we have an ellipsoid. You can actually create all these kinds of geometries. You have many more over here. You have a paraboloid, you have tube, you have pipe, you have slab, you have torus, and all these geometries are basically there to create quick and fast modeling in Rhino from scratch by creating conceptual massing. That is a basic overview of some of the 2D and 3D geometries that you have in Rhino 6.